Hey there, Annette here, back again with another moment for chronic wellness. And we are continuing our series on the question, what is the hardest part of your chronic illness? If only there were just one thing, right? So today I am looking at isolation. Yeah, isolation. As I said that, what I pictured was just like a stone dropping in a pond and like the ripples that go out, and how I feel like that stone that is just lonely and independent, and I feel all the ripples. And chronic illness for me is isolating in that so often I feel like the only one walking this path, the only one having this experience, the only one uh, who is going through what I'm going through. And then it is also isolating because it is isolating because I am home alone, living virtually like a shut in. And I know that this is a continuum, that some of you living with chronic illness are still out in the world, are still trying to work, and are not yet isolated by circumstance in terms of are still trying to figure out how to get out of bed and get dressed and go and be in the world each day. And that is its own kind of isolating, figuring out how to do that. But I am currently living on disability and at home. Um, and so there's all different ways to, all different facets of this thing about isolating. And the longer my illness has gone on, there have been these reckoning points, these times where, I first got sick and lost the ability to keep up with the pace of my life. And so these first layers of relationships sort of fell away, the more superficial ones. And then um, it became more mysterious and confounding, and I didn't know how to communicate about my illness. And I lost other relationships. I wasn't good about communicating, and so then the next culling happened, and then I took myself off all social media for a time, in part because I didn't have the energy to devote any of that little bit of energy to social media, and in part because it was so painful, and there was so much FOMO, so much others people's lives are continuing, and mine has just ground to a halt, and I can't witness what good things are going on in their lives when I'm in such a sad and lonely and painful place. And so the only answer that I had for myself at the time was just to completely reject that, disconnect, disengage, stop. Uh, and, the Rumi says the cure for the pain is in the pain. And I guess I don't always know what that phrase means. And I want it to be true, because when I am in the pain, there's no other place to be but in the pain. I can't wish myself into new circumstances. I can't be any place other than where I am. And so the work of Byron Katie has become very important to me in these years of illness. In particular, her book called Loving What Is. And I have it on audiobook, and it has become a near constant companion. If you're not familiar with it, I recommend it. She has these 4 questions that that you ask your stressful thoughts in order to make peace with a present reality, with what is. And I can't say that I have always learned how to love what is, but I find that when I want to argue with reality, I only always lose. And so the more that I can learn how to befriend my circumstances, the more content I can be. And yet, as an extrovert, as a person who found herself in the midst of illness with a very busy and active life, the pain of isolation, the crippling, crushing, crumbling down of my life upon me was one of the very most confounding, difficult, confusing, grief-stricken, painful parts of this very strange reality that is chronic illness. So that's what's true for me. What about you? Tell me some things about what's been the hardest part for you and chronic illness, and talk to me about isolation, or talk to me about what else has been true. And until the next time, please remember that whether or not we are healthy on paper, we can be well. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to hearing from you and being in touch. Take care.